Simon, just to start off with the injury news.
Yeah, we've got very able to pick a team this week. We've got a short turnaround after playing in Italy, and we are at the moment looking to hopefully have players like Andy Fenby back in the mix. Potentially, he did train today, and hopefully he will come through today's training okay and no adverse reaction. Second rows, Dom Day and Aaron Shinga both haven't trained yet, neither did Lou Reed. So we're kind of holding out on a couple of players there. And other than that, you know, we're looking okay, but there's obviously certain positions where we're still scratching to pull players through from injuries from last week and from the week before.
Some of the people who are out of the World Cup, the likes of Sean Lamont as well, they're not going to be available this week either. No,
not this week. We took a view that, you know, travelling back from New Zealand and certainly the game time that Sean has had would suggest that he needs a week off. Deacon Manu has a bit of an injury, didn't play in the last game against Wales, so he's got a bit of a bump, and Sione is a bit too early for him to come straight into the team or the squad, purely because he hasn't been with us before. He had spent a little bit of time over here before. He went away with Tonga in the summer, but probably hasn't spent enough time with us to know the line-out calls and certain systems. So probably better we get them back in for maybe one of the LV games, and certainly look to play them all, or get them involved against Ulster.
And then obviously after the weekend and the disappointment of that defeat, was that a bit of a shock to the system, the way the season had been going up till then?
Not really, no. We haven't been playing particularly well, and we always know that Treviso is going to be a tough game. We lost first game out there last year, their first game in the league then, and no shock to the system at all. They are a good side. We didn't help ourselves. We gave away an intercept try, and we didn't defend a kick chase just before half time. They scored on the stroke of half time. So we did a lot better things with the ball, and we were pleased with some of the stuff we were doing with the ball last weekend. But we just allowed them to do a bit too much. Brendan Williams in particular was outstanding for them. Someone we highlighted before the game, but he was probably the difference. He was involved in 14 points, and that was probably the difference between winning and losing the match.
I imagine your analysis of Edinburgh is quite difficult given their topsy-turvy results. They've beaten Munster and nearly got a draw at the Ospreys, and some of their other results have been nowhere near as good. Yeah, they have been a bit unpredictable, like ourselves, I think. I think two sides that you couldn't really pin down too much about them. They're well coached this year. Michael Bradley's moved there, and they haven't changed their style too much. But they are, when they do get an opportunity, they play with lots of width. You know, they like to get the ball through their hands, both forwards and backs. So they do play quite an expansive game, and they gave Munster, the league leaders, a bit of a hiding last week at home. So obviously, coming off the back of a good confidence-boosting win, they'll come down to us, and we'll try and continue that form. And of course, you talk about your inconsistency, but a lot of that's down to the sheer numbers that you've got down under at the moment. You'll be delighted with the form that they're showing and the contribution they're making, because they really are having a big impact.
That's right. You know, it's fantastic to produce international rugby players, and who'd have thought that George North, Scott Williams, not only would be Welsh internationals, but would be playing in the World Cup, you know, this time last year. Now, it's great that we produce those, and with that they'll gain experience and hopefully come back to us and contribute in a positive way. That sort of experience will hold them in good stead, and only kind of bring through some of our younger players and see, wow, you know, they've done it, why can't we? So that gives a lot of confidence. But with that, obviously, it means that our squad is stretched a little bit, and we've not only got a few injuries, but we've obviously got quite a few players away with the World Cup duty, and we've got to manage that. And we probably haven't got the results first part of the season that we would have liked, but we knew that before the season started, that we were going to be missing a number of players, you know, in key positions, and we've just got to get on with it.
I mean, in a way, I suppose Scott is the
surprise package of the whole thing. He was a bit of a surprise selection in the summer for the Barbarians game on the bench then, and he's just taken his opportunity through that. That must be great for all the youngsters in your squad to see.
Definitely. Scott only played a couple of games at the end of the last season for the Scarlets, so even his regional rugby was limited last year. But it just shows you what a quality individual he is. We fought at one stage last year to keep hold of him. We knew there was something in him, and obviously he's gone on and shown that in New Zealand, and now it looks like he's competing with another of his Scarlet teammates for that centre position, and same with Reece and Steve. They're competing for that 10th spot as well. So it's great competition, and it's great for us that we've got players that are playing at the highest level, and hopefully they'll come back and be a positive influence on the players that are here.
Let's move on to that game. You've obviously got a foot in both camps. What do you make of it?
Well, it's just a really difficult one to call. I think looking at the two teams, the potential two teams that can go out on the pitch, I like the look of Ireland's pack over Wales. I just think the back row has a little bit more bite in their attack in rugby. I think the ball in hand, O'Brien, Ferris, Heaslip would be amongst the three of the best ball carrying back rows there is at the moment. Maybe not so much their work on the ground, and maybe that's where Warburton can steal a bit of a march on them there. But certainly in terms of ball carrying, I think Ireland have got a bit of an advantage up front. And then the backs, I think, I like the look of Wales' backs at the moment. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They're getting the ball in Jamie's hands and George North's hands, and they look really sharp and they look like they're enjoying the rugby. So it's a bit of a contrast, I think. Maybe I think Ireland's pack against Wales' backs, and although Ireland have plenty of experience in the back line, I think that just the sharpness of some of those Welsh backs at the moment, if they get parity up front, could have the edge. But it's so tight to call, and a lot of people have said it's all about on the day. They're all going to want it the same amount. Just who's accurate and who's smart, and I suppose as well Wales's defence and Ireland's defence has been outstanding as well. So there's that to come into as well. It might end up being like a 6-all or 3-6 or something, and end up having to come down to goal kicking, which would be disappointing if it does. And you wouldn't want anyone to have a poor day with the boot, but it might come down to that because both defences are particularly good as well. So really difficult one to call, and I'm sitting on the fence.
And just finally, for yourself, proud Ireland international, strongly based in Wales, watching it in a Welsh household. When are you going to be cheering loudest?
I don't know. Look, I'd be pleased if Ireland go to the semi-final, and I'd be over the moon if our players get, the Scarlet players get through to the semi-final as well. I'm not going to lie to you. I want Ireland to win the game because that's where my heart is. But it'd be a fantastic experience for our Scarlet players to go and make it to the semi-final. The only issue I've got is that they're going to be away for 2 more weeks, and they're not only going to miss the they're going to be away for a semi-final potentially, and then maybe a 3rd, 4th playoff. So that would probably be my reason for them not to win the game. So we'll get them back a little bit sooner.
The league table, do you look at that at the moment, at this stage of the season? Obviously it doesn't make pretty reading at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, definitely. I think you've the competition can't be won now, but it can be lost, and we can't afford too many more losses. You can look at every game, probably other than the Munster game, and say we could have won that, we should have won, barring a couple of things. So it is frustrating, and it's not pretty reading. And yes, we can make excuses, but at the end of the day, the players that are here are well able to win those games, and frustration is a big part of what's gone on in the last couple of weeks. But it doesn't take away from the fact that we are where we are, and we need to improve that position very quickly.
Does the run of defeats dent morale, dent confidence?
Not at the moment, no. I think it's more more about the performance. You know, I think we were frustrated a little bit about the way we're playing, and that's sometimes difficult to get out of. You know, sometimes you can win a game and not perform particularly well, and I think, you know, we need performance, and hopefully with that will come results. You know, we're obviously scrapping for points at the moment, and we, you know, we've got a 2-week break after this game of LV Cup games, and you know, we need to get back into winning ways, and you know, the players are well aware of that as well as the management.
Because you've got that Edinburgh and then Ulster, maybe sandwich in the LV Cup, and both torn.
Yeah, we've got Edinburgh, Ulster, and
Ospreys.
So you know, it's a big month for us in terms of the league position. You know, and we can't really afford to lose any of those 3 games if we want to stay in the mix come come the new year.
You captain back Matthew Rees towards the end of the month. You know, how much of a boost is that, considering what might have happened? When you had
it's great. You know, you made that decision to step away from the World Cup, and you know, I think everyone realised that he was in pain daily, and he couldn't continue the way he was going. He was training today on the pitch. You know, he took part in some conditioning sessions, so it's great. You know, he's a great guy to have around. He's grown into that role as the Scarlets captain, obviously the Welsh captaincy as well, has given him huge confidence, and he's great to have around. You know, it's good for the younger players, and it's good to see him getting back to fitness, and he'll, as you say, hopefully be looking to be available near the end of the month.
And in terms of going forward, Warren Gatland left 2 great captaincy choices after the World Cup, and you'd have Matthew obviously and Sam as well.
Yeah, it's great for him, but I'm not really bothered about what Warren Gatland's got to worry about at the moment. I'm concerned about what's happening here. But yeah, it is good, and you know, every team needs leaders, and Wales have got a couple now that you know, when Matthew comes back, that they can call upon.